Okay. All right. So today we're talking about the CanDAO ecosystem and the goal, which is the goal is instead of universal basic income, we have a model which we believe that is leading here, Dan and friends, here into what we have coined the phrase 2 days ago as the universal abundance. Universal abundance income. Okay, and we truly believe that we have cracked this code with certain technologies. Dan, I won't get into the details of these too much here at all, but these technologies include this. First of all, a decentralized social media network done as a DAO that all blockchains can build upon. Okay. Number two, we have the master patent of augmented reality, which puts all these mega technocrats on notice and controls it into moving into Web3 and beyond into the metaverse done proper. Okay. Number three, we have AWS cloud storage and data to decentralize the entire internet and also to tokenize. That's why I'm down here in Salt Lake right now. Also to tokenize the data, and that feeds into our master currency, the CDO token. This is the amazing burning tokenomics, by the way. And then we also have distribution of for companies as well. So think about as like Amazon warehouses, for example, for distribution for products and services that would like in logistics of companies that come on board into that want to sell on the social media platform. So this is new, bringing something. We're talking about the gems and rubies and stuff like this. And you seem like a really nice guy. It sounds like we share the same vision. And the point of this video is to explore what that looks like, bring into CanDAO. So go ahead, please.
Yeah, I am not a crypto expert myself, but I got into this arena because my business partner and I have a bunch of technologies that we've wanted to fund, but we didn't want to be beholden to somebody else with an exit strategy of 2 or 3 years when we want to be doing this long enough term that it's going global as opposed to more local. What we found is one of our business partners has been mining very large rubies for a long time, and we just thought that's a perfect way to get in with something of real value. We brought in about 14 billion in rubies to start. We still haven't launched. That's probably I'm hoping Q4 that we'll be able to launch. I am in the process now of monetizing rubies and other rare world assets in similar ways to what we're doing with the Ruby concept. And I've aggregated, I think my last list is like over almost $5.25 trillion of 43101 gold holdings and rubies and alexandrite. And we're starting to do some cash trades in and MT103s. I mean, those types of things. We're in the process of building our own trade platform that we will have our own traders and our own lines of credit with banks and those types of things going forward. We have about what do we have, about $12 billion in active transactions that we're waiting for the monetization to occur, just waiting for terms. They've already been approved. These are Ruby files that range from just under 2 billion to just over 5 billion, the three that we're working on now, and a very long list of additional resources that are waiting to align with us as we begin to show money's coming back. And the distributions on one of these is over $1 billion a month as it's doing its thing out there in the financial marketplace.
Right.
So that's kind of about the shortest update I've ever given, just to get a very high level understanding of what we are looking to do.
Right.
Because we are in the process of turning large rubies, I would say, or large value collections of rubies. Our goal is to get them liquid because of the things that we are doing through the monetization process. So as a cryptocurrency, you have something, we plan to launch it at less value than the underlying appraised value while we are out in the marketplace generating returns that are greater than the appraised value of the gems themselves. So I think you can kind of figure out, what we're doing there.
Right.
One of the big differences in the way that it works today is almost every country has corrupt practices of coming in and basically stealing the assets right out from under the miners, if you will, at a very low cost to them, and then they bring them to people like us and try to go make the money. What I'm looking to do is make sure that as we go forward, we begin to work directly in country, benefiting the indigenous peoples,
Yeah.
benefiting the
Yes.
miners,
Yes.
making sure that the additional cash that's being generated, we're actually working with the governments to be
Right.
able to put that cash flow into infrastructure, technology advancement and food, water, all the infrastructure things you need. Power is a major portion of it. There are many, I mean, in Africa, as one example, many countries are beginning to wake up to the way they've always done things, where they're being screwed every which way, including screwing each other, because their monetary units of exchange, they want to say theirs is better, and they never get anything done because they're just fighting with each other about the value of, whatever transaction they're trying to do. With the digital currency introduction, um, much of that is being wiped away, and they're able to work seamlessly together. And this is what I'm all about. I want to be benefiting humanity as much as possible, and the magnitude of capital that we are creating is so that capital can go right back into the economies of countries that have been floundering for years and being taken advantage of, either more military strength countries that are working with them, or those who are way advanced in technologies and they manipulate the markets to their benefit as opposed to
China.
everybody winning. So yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, so much of that story is they come in and it sounds good until you realize they take everything away and there's nothing left.
So you're
So
enslaved, right? Yeah.
yeah, but that's
Uh,
really the heart of what we are doing.
um,
What I love about the Ruby aspect is, for our cryptocurrency, we're only using stones that are 3 kilograms or greater. A 3 kilogram stone is typically valued in about 20,000 per carat, which is about 300 million per stone. And the reason that we did that is just because it creates a very common valuation where you're not tracking how many of this type do I have versus that type. It's just very consistent in its underlying valuation, which makes it really nice to do financial transactions from.
hmm.
So,
This is beautiful. Well, a few thoughts have crossed my mind so far. You want to say anything else, or should we touch on those?
no, we can start right here.
Okay, first of all, very interesting. Like you're talking about these people, arguing over there, about the prices and stuff like this. I mean, what came to my mind right there, for example, here, Dan, is the concept of a monetized social network. We plan to go more viral quicker than COVID, because when this goes and is being brought to the United Nations, and I've said this for 12, 13 years now, monetization beyond blockchain. When I looked at Brock Pearson the other day when he called me and I told him, hey, every single cryptocurrency, including Bitcoin, is a complete Ponzi scheme, except USD Tether. I gave him a wink because he's the co-founder of it. I was kissing his ass a little bit. You feel me? Okay. So, but when you have a friend, power for the people, a currency of a social media network. The other thing that Brock shared with me was that, in Web2, you look at what happened right there, that the currency, when Facebook tried to come out the Libra coin, that wasn't going to happen, right? Because it would have had to kind of quite an effect on, different currencies out there in the world, right? Then what Brock tried to do was he was trying to launch that as a social media coin within a messenger service. So going that direction with it. And when he called me up the other day and said, congratulations, Ryan, you guys have completely nailed it. You built a social media network on a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization that all blockchains in the world can build into. Because right now we have 1,000 blockchains, unique at least. We have 2.3 million cryptocurrencies plus right now. You can go to CoinMarketCap and see that in the upper left-hand corner. It's just like a dog chasing its tail and stuff like this. So we truly believe that now, just touch base on this, is, in our system, Web2, you have a Droid store and you have an Apple store, right? And these are the gatekeepers for the apps that come out there in the marketplace. This is like polarized. It's like, Republican, Democrat. It's like male, female. It's like Christianity, Hinduism. It's like the separation, right here. But in Web3, what happens is now our proposal is the monetized social grid becomes like the mainframe, becomes the iOS system, is a way of looking at that these apps build onto. So for example, I'll give you an example what that looks like. Our goal is to decentralize everything. So you have that mainframe right there. And what's going to happen is all these people are being laid off because the technology is already built at Uber. The technology has already been built at the core foundation technology over at, we'll focus on two, Airbnb, for example. So current, they're going to be looking for, things are going to shift, is the point. So if you look at the Airbnb is $120 billion. You have, Uber is $120 billion right now, roughly. You have Airbnb that's worth $24 billion. And believe it or not, OnlyFans is now worth $28 billion. Kind of a little funny joke right there. But it's kind of funny when people are making money, they make smarter decisions in life. Right. So, we see this as there's a Harvard article that even came out there talking about how Web2 contributes to human trafficking, from families selling their children off for 100 or 200 bucks. Well, in this case, with this system, this universal abundance income, they're not going to do that. You see what I'm saying? And also, since everyone is verified on the blockchain who partakes in the system, you'll be able to see these people, because I have A2Me fake on Instagram right now, and people keeps taking advantage of people and stuff like this, and it's just ridiculous. All these fake profiles, right? It's just nuts. So Web3 fixes that as well. So that you're doing business with the right people. But anyways, I'll give two examples here. What a decentralized application looks like. Then we'll get more into your guys's what I foresee happening potentially here, because it's massive what you brought to my attention. Okay, so Airbnb, their business model is very simple. They take 15% of every rental. So if you go spend $1,000 someplace, they take $150. That's 15% right there. Okay, in our model, okay, this is great. We take that $150. Well, guess what? We throw it through a smart contract straight tied into the DAO, which is the social platform, the decentralized autonomous organization. And what happens is when that person rents a house on level 51, for example, it triggers that smart contract all the way up, 50 levels up, and that $150 is divvied up $3 each in microtransactions all the way up to the top. And on every single transaction, there's burning tokenomics on that social media coin. I guarantee you Libra didn't have burning tokenomics. We don't even need burning tokenomics to shoot this coin up through the freaking roof right here. Okay. And we actually consulted with like Chat, GPT, OpenAI, and put parameters in there with our analysis. And without this going to the UN, like we're making happen in Wyoming, Washington, DC next week, staying with Brock Pierce in his mansion for 4 days on my birthday. What a blessing that is. Okay. Let's put it this way. He only goes to his DC mansion when he's doing DC things. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And we're in a very heated election right now. Obviously, I mean, you could take a monetized social network and be like, look, Paul, why do we have to have all this chaos with these two parties, right? Like if the people made the decisions and were able to vote through a monetized social good where their ID was verified, right? Which we have right here. Okay. On chain is what we call it. Then the majority, like this potentially, I mean, Brock helped El Salvador become Bitcoin's national currency. Well, now we're in Web3. Bitcoin's just an okay storage of value right there, right? So what I foresee from what you've mentioned is that it's inspired me to work along with you all and what does it look like beyond like taking other raw materials, maybe not just rubies, maybe not just gold, because some people are like, oh, we're backing this coin with gold and blah, blah, blah. Well, okay, you're still not tied into the mainframe, the iOS, the opportunity. You see what I'm saying? To a monetized social grid. And the other thing that came to mind is when these coins are being traded, we can take those fees of those trading going on, okay? And we can take those fees and throw it through the social graph also with those going through there right there. Let me give you an example what this looks like. I have a private jet company that just came on board with us. And those private jets sell for $100 million. Nothing compared to your billions that you're speaking of, Dan. Okay. Now I said to them, they go, what it will look like in the social grid? I said, look, what do you guys pay in commission? They can say we pay 1%. I said, okay, so $1 million. I say, look, why don't you guys go ahead and keep $500,000? But let me show you what I could do with $500,000 right here. I'm going to take that $500,000. I'm going to put it into a smart contract. Here, we're not talking about an app. You feel me? Okay. Okay. And that $500,000 divided up by 50 levels. Okay. We're okay right now. Excuse me. $500,000. 500,000 divided by 50 is $10,000 every single level, just off that sale of that one jet. Now, this is where it gets really cool. Let me share with you. Let's go back to the Uber scenario right here. Okay, but first, those people with those private jet sales, if someone in Africa has $10,000 hit their bank, their pocket, okay, on line 50, they're like someone bought it, like way here. That's like lottery winnings popping up all across Africa, and people just going bonkers ballistic about that. People didn't get too excited about COVID. People are gonna get really excited about this. Okay, so let's go back to this is really cool. This is something I created within the apps that moving forward, what we're going to do. Every single app, let's say you got your Ticketmaster app here, you got your, I don't like to use these names, but you get the concept, the idea, right? You have your Airbnb here, you got your Uber app here. Here's an Uber concept. Let's say Uber makes $15 on a ride. We can divvy that up. That's 30 cents, 50 levels deep. Can you imagine having 1 million people in your network just with those two apps? How much data, how many earnings on 1 million plus people? And let me share with you, 1 million people in this platform is absolutely nothing. I've got the spreadsheets to show you what happens when 2 gets 2 gets 2. When you get down to about level 26 or so, it's crazy. Okay. I've got a few different spreadsheets. All I'm doing is putting 100 people across the front line on this thing for free. It takes me 5 minutes to lock you all into the okay. It's so simple. But check this out. This is where it gets crazy. Okay, so we talked about Uber, we talked about Airbnb, that private jet right there, right? So now we're talking about all kinds of things selling through this also. And that's so moving forward, what we're talking about, your stuff, natural resources and trading, and taking a fee, of a trading fee on billions of dollars, and someone did down that level. Just imagine the amount of income that could roll up through that freaking thing. People potentially will use this currency to go buy the jewels, because this is the coin of the people by the people. And we are also spreading, our first initiative is spreading internet across the entire world with decentralized AWS system right here. I can share some information with you. Cisco tried to buy it out, by the way. We said no. So for a substantial amount too, by the way. Anyways, that's a big rant. What do you think about some of those ideas?
No, it's fascinating. I'd love to learn more. Um, Seems like we should sign some sort of agreements and pass some information back and forth would be helpful, I think. So
Definitely. This is going to be so beautiful for mankind. And my goal, like being with Brock, I don't know what's going to happen this weekend, but let me ask you, does RFK have a vice president yet?
I don't know.
Imagine this. Can someone Google that, please?
Does he? No, he does. She's
Oh,
out of
Oh,
California.
that's
He
right.
does. She's out of California. She's a former wife of someone with she's no longer married, but some Silicon Valley entity. I don't remember which it
there's plenty of
is.
people that have been married, ex, all this stuff, and plenty of people.
Wow, but
You know what?
I mean, no, I'm just
I'm just joking, but you know how cool it'd be is if Brock and it wouldn't even Brock have to be vice president. How we bring this technology in, because I don't know about you guys, it's like Trump or they're talking about the dollar being backed by Bitcoin moving forward and stuff like this. But what if you backed the U.S. dollar with the people of the people, a social media cryptocurrency that all blockchains in the world could tie into, and you could tie all this stuff in the trading of the rubies and diamonds into that, and all the natural resources, whatever we have, that we have what I'm saying? Like, it's huge potential.
Yeah, it truly is. I mean, there is so much wealth in these still underground resources, and I have technologies that can go find them from outer space, so to speak,
Yeah.
and know where there's more of them available for doing these types of things. But this is fascinating.
Right. It reminds me, there's a company called Debtbox, and that was DEBT, Debtbox, and they were doing something with I got to reach out to this guy. I haven't seen anything about that, but I have not found. This is where it gets really, really cool, because we all know millionaires, and we know, some of us know billionaires, and a lot of millionaires know billionaires and stuff like this. Our concept, it's going to go to. I've got 2 more billionaires I've got to speak to today. Okay. And this is going to be freaking awesome. And it's not about the money. It's about how we can really shift the entire world. I just added the core technologies together in the beginning, but this is all about those 5 I listed earlier on. Okay, it was enough to get the the snowball rolling. Now we can quickly integrate systems like this. And so My focus is going to be in helping integrate these platforms as different apps or, you know, sectors into the mainframe right there, you see. And we also have a foundation also, but our foundation is primarily going to be focused helping, you know, to unbank get people on the blockchain and, you know, get them internet. That's all we've got to do. It's going to be awesome. So
Yeah, you're definitely connecting dots that make a ton of sense. And now it's just the practical side of, okay, you know, what comes next. But yeah,
right. Yeah, this I want to just read this real quick because this was just for historical note real quick. I put a video of Brock Pierce, and I want to make sure you guys have seen this. This is absolutely beautiful video that came out on Vice right here. I'll send it to you. Make sure you have this if you haven't seen this already. Okay.
okay.
And when I listened to, I actually haven't heard this the whole entire thing because I've been busy this week, but I watched it this morning, and his whole goal was he wanted to create a crypto utopia. Okay, after I got a lot of traveling this month. Then I'll be in Malaysia the 25th to the 28th. I'll then go down to Thailand. Also, I'll be in Vegas. We got medical records on the blockchain also coming through. Dr. Naputi, who was sued for $500 billion actually by the FDA. Dr. Naputi. There's some other stuff there. So they are coming to work with us. So these are our thing. That was one of the other technologies, by the way, the fifth technology. Okay. So I said this because Brock wants to build a crypto utopia. I consider myself, I've been saying this for years, a futurist and a utopian capitalist. What does that mean? And here we are with this. Okay, so I'll say, you'll see in this video, it was Brock's vision was to create a universal basic income originally. Okay, that basic, that sounds so just like not that, you know, so, you know, not that powerful, right? It's like, what are you gonna do? You give them $1,000 a month every person? You're gonna give 2,000? What are you gonna do, right? So what's fair, right? Okay, so I took it a step further to develop this into what I've coined the phrase universal abundance income, UAI, which I've created assembling technologies including CanDAO, the master patent of augmented reality, decentralized AWS servers to bring internet across the globe to tokenize data and medical records on the blockchain. Okay, the universal abundance income model will distribute trillions, if not hundreds of trillions of dollars back to the people across the globe. However that looks like. Obviously, rubies and stuff help us get there more quickly. Wouldn't you agree?
No, absolutely.
Okay, so yes, I was going to say one more thing there, but oh, and also with UAI, Universal Abundance Income, is interesting because the A and I are the last ones right there, UAI, which is until we had our artificial intelligence, because we have artificial intelligence built into our CanDAO, for example, and we have it built into a whole bunch of different tech within stuff called Matchify and stuff, which helps people connect. You know, on LinkedIn, you can connect with people. You can see you know this person from level number 3 or something like this, right? Or number 2 connection or something. So yeah, we're moving fast.
So Bill, any questions or comments?
Bill, we want to see you.
No, kind of absorbing right now, and again, I apologize. I had told Sarah that I had to go pick up my car at the dealership after getting serviced. Actually,
it's fine. It's all good, Bill. So, but you know, we ran a lot of ideas past you, Bill, in the past. This is the big daddy that once you see this, you can't unsee this.
No, I'm looking forward to, you know, taking in what I've heard, listening. If you can share that recording that you did, that would be great. Definitely. Because that way I can listen to it where I'm not distracted by semi-trailers, you know, pulling in front of me and doing all the things I've been doing for the last 35, 40 minutes.
Okay, so moving forward, Dan, Sherry, you want to say something?
Brian, I want to say something. Based on my understanding and having worked with Dan for the last year and knowing you and now hearing about what you have in mind, I really, really believe that Dan will help you get there much, much faster.
We're all going to help each other. This is CanDAO means everyone can build on a decentralized autonomous organization. And it's as simple as just inviting a friend to be on the blockchain, because friendship without being on the blockchain is like sand going through the hands. You're like, what happened to that guy? Oh yeah, I remember him. Like you forget. And by the way, we've got a CRM. We're going to take a Salesforce system, okay, and build it in. So the social media platform will have a CRM built into it. So it's going to take whatever data you decide to disclose publicly. I mean, I've got 14,300 people myself. I'm not sure how many you guys have, but I can tell you where I met every single one of these people, who I met them through. After every call, I'm updating my notes of how you already have a file in my phone right now, Dan. Bill has had a file. Bill, what was Bill's last name? Sorry, Bill, what last name was
Kerr.
Bill William Kerr. Watch. Yeah, 1 second, please. I can tell, write this, for example.
Kerr. Yes.
Yeah, 1 second, please. I'm going to give you an example here. So imagine this, and this is a digital product, okay, like Bill William Kerr. Boom. I met Bill back on 12/14/22 is when I met Bill. And I have here very successful and highly connected a friend through Sara Rodriguez. And he is the reason why she moved, is also have a note. So I have conversation things that I note that stand out right here. You see what I'm saying? So it's an easy way for people to remember and move fast right there.
Yeah, I
Wow.
love it.
Sara Rodriguez, let's pull up Sara Rodriguez on the CRM system for a split second. So, because imagine a Ticketmaster, for example. These tickets, I don't know about you guys, but these tickets are getting expensive out there, right? So, this is what I was going to share with you. Okay, this is the function of all these apps that I created that is really amazing. Imagine you see a line item in this app, and you're like, okay, that Uber ride, and you can click on the route, and you can see the route of the map, which is interesting to learn just for fun, why you made $10 on that one instead of what you typically make, or whatever, excuse me. Or in the Airbnb, you imagine seeing your income statement, you're like, oh, okay, that house rented on level 50. And it shows, and I made $3, and there's a it doesn't show who rented it because of anonymity, or I can't even say that word, okay? But it also has a hyperlink, and you can, oh, that house in Mechanos, cool, sweet. Let's say that you like that house right there. You can repost that income statement onto your wall and say, hey, everyone, take a look at this. I just made $3. This house in Mechanos that just rented is really cool. Scope it out. Now you just influence your whole entire social grid. So think about what this does in the psychology of the economy. Let's go back to the jet model right here, okay? In that one jet model, they were kind of cheap. They only put $500,000 into the comp plan because that's what I told them to do, for example, okay? But now someone else is selling that same jet, and that jet company says, look, those guys, because in the income model and that, you're going to see, okay, that jet company that sells that jet just made $10,000, and that, on level da-da-da. You see what I'm saying? And they can click on the link and take a virtual tour and see the gold toilet seats or whatever have you in that jet plane right there. You see? Now, and it creates competition. This is where it gets really, really beautiful, okay? It creates competition because there's another jet company that's selling the same jet and says, you know what? We're going to pay these influencers out there, and we're going to bump it up to $750,000, but we're going to still hoard $250,000 that we would have originally paid, right? Now they went ahead and bumped the bar up, and so now the influencers say, hey, guys, check out this jet company instead of that one, because this one's now paying $15,000, 50 levels deep right there. But you know what? At the end of the day, these companies are all dealing with and spreading the value of the social currency, the CDO, which is just freaking skyrocketing, that everyone's got so much money, they don't even care. They could sell the jet for a freaking loss, almost to the point.
Yeah, totally.
Well, hopefully not $100 million jet. That'd be a BBJ plus. So
well, it depends on their equity, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'd love to work with you and Bill. I think we got the wheels spinning. It's really nice for us to come together. Let's give some thought. I got to go book my ticket to go see Brock in Washington, D.C. right now, because I'm not going to stay the night here, fly out in a red eye to D.C. I can't go back to Seattle tonight. So
when's your birthday?
August 12th.
August 12th. Well, I have a good friend that's a U.S. and Mexico citizen from San Diego, Tijuana, and his birthday is August 12th. So I will remember that very closely. They're the largest landowners in Baja California, Mexico.
Speaking of, I had this made when I lived in Brazil last year. You see that little talking about gyms right here, Dan, So very nice call, guys. A great introduction. Let's put our heads together again. I'll share this video with you guys privately. It'll be a private video, and then you can kind of make sure some other people and see. We'll come back together here right away, okay?
And if
Sounds
you
good.
can share the recording, please, just
Got
so
it.
I can
Coming
go
to you
back
right
and
now.
re-listen if you don't mind.
Got
Thank
it.
you so very much.
You're welcome.